Hello and welcome to this week's Intuitive Flower Readings. I'm Susan Jane and I'm doing the readings for you. And today we are looking at the moon cycles. This is recorded too. I just need to let you know, I am touring the UK with my father, so this has been recorded. And I have got a few flower images I'm going to do. I want to talk about the moon, the cycles. I want to talk about how that affects us in our in the Trust Awareness program or Trust Mastery program. And I want to also do a group flower reading. So, plus the individual ones that I've got there too. But first of all, 6th of September, we are now we've just had the first quarter go past over the weekend. We are now on the waxing gibbous. Now, the waxing gibbous is like we have the second half of the growth of the moon, if that makes sense. We see it come to life before we hit the full moon. The full moon will be on this weekend. So as we're going through this week, what we're seeing happening is that the moonlight obviously is getting stronger, brighter. The soil is releasing the energy that it holds onto, and the plants draw that energy up. So the growth is increased. So what we would sow, what seeds we would sow, or what plants we would put in would be flowering plants and fruiting plants. Now, they coincide with our goals for this week, which are relationship goals and wealth goals. So the type of goals we're looking at are thoughtful and focused. Now, when we're looking at those goals, while we have those goals there, when I'm talking about them, I'm talking about them in a context where this will happen it's for this week. We set these goals this week, but it's for the month. They're not long-term goals. These are not your big pie in the sky goals. These are just smaller goals that we want to look at, we want to achieve, say in the next month, before we put another goal forward. So relationships and wealth goals are what we're looking at this week. And try and have get an understanding of that side of it. So plant those fruits and flowers, plant those seeds of relationships and wealth. Start getting that happening in there. The other area in the Trust Mastery program we look at is it's all about self-confidence this week. I'm going to have a drink of water. I've got something in my mouth. I just had a muesli bar. So this week it's about self-confidence. Here I am, but what am I? We need to get a better understanding of who we are. So we're looking at self-appreciation, self-care, self-worth, and self-reflect. Okay. And in that area, we look at self-appreciation, which is about the distance and the journey we have come. So we look at the stem and the path, the stem or the path journey of the flower. Self-care is about being patient and consistent. So knowing your triggers as well. It's those mental triggers, which are your leaves and your guides. Self-worth is about that emotional side of it. So sometimes it helps to see ourselves from another perspective. And petals and the attraction can do that. Self-reflect is the last one. And it is, we're only in charge of ourselves. So self-reflecting is getting to know yourself a little bit more. Now, we did the self-awareness. We've done that. We did that last week. So now we're self-reflecting on some of that as well. And we look at the center and the love of that aspect there. So they're the things we're going to be looking at today. But let's do the collective flower. Let me get my little trusty randomizer happening. Yep. Okay. So here we go. Let's do it again. Ready? Here we go. Number 34. Number 34 is what we are doing today, which is, ooh, lovely. Share that one. This is our collective flower for today. Okay, beautiful iris. Right, here we go. So we are looking at those areas of self-confidence. And when we look at this image to start with, you see it looks quite self-confident, but not as self-confident as some other flower images I have seen. Even though this one's opened and expressing the heart and showing everything there, it still doesn't look the image that has been captured on the side. So it still isn't as open and it isn't as confident as what we could see, what other flowers will show. But when we look at the stem or the journey in our self-appreciation, there is a strong stem. So there is a strong journey. There's also another one coming through, and that's the bud of another goal there coming through. But it is a strong journey. It is the plant itself. When we look at the journeys and the stem, a lot of that we can look back at flower when we're doing flower drawings, because sometimes when we draw a flower, we have a very fine stem and a big flower. And consequently, the stem and the journey don't actually hold the flower or the goal up. Whereas this one, obviously, because it's a flower image, a picture, a photo taken, we know that this stem will hold up that flower. So we know that that stem and journey is about the distance they've come, and they've come a little way. You're going to be, oh no, actually this is the community one, not a personal one. And that's sort of a general size. When you look at the flower image where it is, it's right in the middle of the photo. So, oh, hang on, no wonder I'm doing this funny. The flower size, is there any more to it? No, that's it. It's relatively in the center. It's a little bit lower than the center. So the journey isn't as long and as arduous. It is suitable. It's going to do it. We've had a goal there that's already fallen away. But if we were looking at this as our relationship goal or our wealth goal, the journey isn't too far away in a collective. Now, when we look at the self-care, we look at the leaves as guides. There is a lot of green in the back there. They're not distinct leaves, so they're a lot more blurry. They are of the spiritual nature. So it's blurred information we're getting, spiritual stuff. It isn't of the same, it doesn't look to be of the same plant. When we think of the iris, they've got long elongated leaves. They're not long elongated leaves. No. So it is this spiritual nature, this spiritual information and guidance is coming through from external. And if it's about self-care, it's probably that very subtle way of letting you know, when you sort of, you might sneeze and you'll go, oh, I'm getting a bit of hay fever, or I'm getting a cold, or I'm getting, oh, that was just a bit of dust, I'm just sneezing. And you have an understanding of what is behind it. And you have an understanding of whether that health aspect or whether that situation is of something that you need to take medication for, or you need to see a doctor for, or whether you just need to blow the dust out of your nose. So you have that understanding and you intuitively know where to go. And you even get that understanding where you sort of feel like this health issue or this situation is beyond me and I need to step forward. So say we're looking at relationships and wealth goals. So say it's a situation where your finances are not feeling like they need to be where they are. You will intuitively have some ideas of where you can go with that and what you can do with that. And you're getting that through these guides there coming in through the back. You're getting that intuitive information coming through. You will have an understanding of it. And it doesn't hurt to ask and seek some guidance from it, but you'll be getting that information. Say it's a relationship goal and you sort of go, well, everyone says, oh, you've got to go onto, internet and you've got to do internet dating, and it doesn't feel right for you. Those intuitive messages will come through and it's not feeling right, you don't do it. But then things will change and other information will come through, and then you may find a platform that is conducive to how you feel and it doesn't feel so yuck, for want of another word. So that's what's looking in the collective there. So if you're looking at as far as relationships or finances go, you'll be getting some information coming through. Just take it on board. You don't have to act on it straight away. You just get that understanding about it. It is a very spiritual information coming through. There's not the physical guidance to help you with that. When we look at self-worth, we see ourselves from another perspective and we look at the petals. So your self-worth is going to be a little bit down. You're going to find there's areas there of your self-worth that you don't want people to see. You're going to be hiding them, and that shows you in this image there. There's areas that you're going to feel that you're a bit blemished, maybe not as polished as you would like to be, and that could be affecting your self-worth. But Remember, look at the whole picture and how beautiful and gorgeous that flower is. You know, in the whole picture, even if a flower isn't beautiful and gorgeous, you still are beautiful and gorgeous. It still has that incredible ability to start from a seed and create this amazing flower, amazing bloom. So every flower, every person is unique and they have their own unique ways. So just watch your self-worth this week. You may feel there's a couple of areas there that are not, you know, they're a little bit down. When we want to self-reflect, we're looking at the center. There's not a lot of self-reflection needed this week. You should have been doing a lot last week. Not so much needed this week. When we look at the heart center, there is no heart center in there. We can't see it. It is down deep. If it is in there, it'll be right down in amongst that protected area there. So not a lot of self-reflecting. Like, I wouldn't say you need to sit there and do a meditation and self-reflect. If you're doing any self-reflection, it's just happening naturally and normally, and it's not an issue there. So that's how we're looking at the collective coming up into, where are we? Coming up to the full moon, okay? That's what we're looking at as far as our relationship goals and our wealth goals go. Keep that self-worth happening with that wealth, because you really need to know that you deserve it. If you're not feeling like you deserve it, you will have struggle with that one. So keep that in mind for this week. Okay, where am I up to? Let's have a look at these ones. I will do, who shall I do first? Mellie, you can be first today. Now, these were the ladies that sent the flowers in for me, and they had to send them in under the 4 areas that I work with. Is self-confidence, which is what we're doing today. So there's oh gosh, I've gone blank. There is, let's start, self-awareness, self-confidence, which is this week, self-reliable, and self-love. And we go through those 4 areas. So this one was Mellie's self-confidence image. And when we look at this image, straight away we sort of go, oh, it's sort of very squished up into the right-hand side. So a lot of her confidence is to do with what's happening in the future, or it's more towards the future, and it's definitely more of a spiritual nature. So a lot of this area, this self-confidence area, is of a spiritual nature. Now, when we go back into the path or journey, the distance that she has come, we can see a stem there, but I don't believe that that's the stem from this particular flower. It could be, and if it is, either way, the stem is happening. It's quite a distance, like it's half of the image size, and then it does shoot off to the side there as well. So there is quite a long journey with that, and part of that journey is learning and getting that understanding on the side there as we're going forward. So there's definitely the distance that she's come is quite a distance. And when we look at where the flower is in the top half, it is quite a distance, considering if that flower is in the center, then you would only have a short stem. But there is quite a distance in that stem. Strong, straight, reliable, not a problem. So self-care, we look at the leaves and guides, and look at this huge big leaf here. It is a camellia leaf, so it is from the same plant. The lovely little buds down here too. This is a huge leaf there of a masculine. It is the mental aspect. We've got some more spiritual ones up here, and we've even got some darker physical ones down there. And when these ones are dark, they're out of the light. So we're saying that they're those sort of physical connotations is not necessarily somebody in front of you in that physical understanding. It could be something that's sort of done sheepishly behind your back, but you get the learning from it. Okay, you may see somebody doing something, and this is going to be like create some of these triggers because of what they're doing and everything else. It doesn't necessarily mean it's positive what they're doing, and it's going to create those triggers and give you that learning and that understanding to move forward. So definitely a lot happening down there in that physical realm. This is more of a mental area. So when we're looking at this beautiful big, I'd almost say that would be like a study, some sort of a study that you've done or you're doing, and that's taking you forward. So this could be spiritual learnings. This could be like almost a formal study, or informal research or formal research, and something along those lines, because it's of the mental nature. So when it's of a mental nature, it's not coming verbally from somebody, it's you're reading about it, you're getting a research, you're getting an understanding about it, you're learning about it. So it's all that side to it that's going to help you with those, and that they're the triggers you're going to get that's coming through. And then of course you've got a couple more of the spiritual nature, spiritual type coming through as well. You're copying it left, right, and center. Sorry, Mel. I shouldn't laugh. But yes, this is the big one here. These ones are going to be in the dark, so you're not going to know a lot of them. These ones are coming in spiritually, but this one, yeah, it's almost like you've got to do a course or something to that effect. And that's taking you forward. And the funny thing is, when I did my uni degree, I did like this. I got all this. And I needed to have that physical, theoretical understanding to go, you know what? I get that now. I understand that now. And it actually helped me take my spirituality even higher, even further forward. So I can see that happening quite easily. Your self-worth is your petals of attraction. Your self-worth is very, very wrapped up. It's not open. It's not easy to understand. It's very, very intricate. It's very, very wrapped up. It's quite tight. So your self-worth is, in a context, it is, when I sort of say we see yourself from another perspective, if I was looking at you in this image and that is your self-worth, I would say it's very, very intricate. It's very interwoven with everything you do. It's not as easy as what some people would see. If you had a real like open daisy, I would say, I can really see your self-worth. I can really see what it looks like, and I can see where the areas are because of these beautiful just individual daisy petals. But yours is intrigued, and it's very wrapped up in everything else. It's not one or the other. It's everything all involved, and you can't just have one petal of self-worth here and one petal of self-worth there. It's got to be all inclusive and all wrapped up in together. So very particular in that side of it. Self-reflect is your center, and again, your self-reflect, like the collective one, is not so important this time. You can't, I know that they have centers, but it's not relevant at this particular time. It's happening, it's there, but it's not relevant. And so naturally you're going to be doing that self-reflection anyway, but it's not something that you sort of go, oh, I need to self-reflect on that. No, maybe others will, but yours you don't. So that's yours, Mel. Gosh, I've got to stop. I've got to slow it down a bit, don't I? I've got to self-reflect a little bit more. Okay, what's next? I'm going to do Elle's next. Here's yours, Elle. Oh, it's a gorgeous flower. Oh my goodness, I don't know where you get these beautiful flowers from, girls. They're so nice. Here's yours, Elle. Look at yours. Oh, yours is a cut flower. See, I can see the plastic around it. A very clear plastic. So yours is a bunch of flowers that has been cut. Okay, so let's have a look at what that means. Now, so we go with self-appreciation. We look at the stem and the journey for our self-confidence this week. Now, we can't see the stem or the journey. We do know the lilies have a beautiful long stem because they're grown for that reason. So we know they've got a strong stem, but it's not so relevant at this particular time for your self-confidence. You don't need to look back at your journey or your path. Just know that that's where you are at the moment. Your self-confidence is really out there in front of you. So that's not as an issue. Your self-care, which is about your leaves and your guides, again, we can't see any. It's got a bud here, that's not a leaf. You have got leaves there in the spiritual context, and they are more elongated, so they're definitely more of a masculine nature, but they're coming through to you spiritually. So they could be little direct messages that you're getting coming through. And they could be just triggering you to do things. So you may be getting some of these little messages to sort of go, I need to go that way, and you don't really want to go that way, but they're triggering you to go that way, and you don't really want to go that way, but you're going to go that way. Or if you don't go that way, you're going to go that way next time. It's just like little things coming through. So you're going to have that come through. Your self-worth is about your petals of attraction, and look at those amazing petals. Now, when we look at your self-confidence, we've got like 1, 2, 3, 4 main areas. There could be another one there, 5, but and a bud coming through. So when we look at your self-confidence, there may be 5 main areas or 4 main areas that you could focus on a little bit more to help you get through that. Definitely 2 that are up front, and then you've got 3 or 2 that we can see, and then there's 1 definitely hidden there. But so when we look at those is in relevance to importance, there's 2 really important areas that you need to be focused on for your self-confidence, and then there's 3 others there that are in the background. They're still just as important, but they're not front and center at the moment. So even those front and centers, if you feel like you're having an issue with somewhere, that's what's front and center. That's what you need to look at. That's where you can focus straight up. So that's that side of it. That's about your self-worth. And when we look at your self-worth from a perspective of another person, so I'm looking at you as these flowers, I can see you looking like you're very open and you're very engaging. And you did that for me, like you connected with me. And I see that as being really, really beautiful. But I also see there's some areas in there, there's 3 of those hidden areas that are still beautiful. You're not aware that they're still beautiful, and you may be trying to hide them a little bit. And that could be part of that self-confidence. So there could be just those little areas there you may not want everyone to see as much. Yes, there's parts of them that they can see, but not all of them. But embrace the whole lot. This is about all of you, Elle, or the whole lot of you, and we love every part of you. There is one area there, and I want to look at, but the next part was self-reflect. And again, you've got to do a lot of self-reflecting. Okay, especially in all those areas, they've got huge heart centers, and their heart centers are right out there for the world to see. You need to do a lot of self-reflecting on there. And you need to self-reflect on those certain areas. So if you could write down 5 areas of self-confidence where you would like to develop on, or what you would like, or what you're good at, those 5 areas, put those 5 areas down on a piece of paper, and then start to sort of have a look at where you may be able to improve on them, where you may excel on those, where there's areas there that are creating uncomfortable parts to it. Just be mindful, and there's no right or wrong answers. This could be your self-confidence, could be part of your core values. It could be anything like that. Just 5 areas that come to mind. Write them down and have a look at them. Whatever you put down there will be relevant for this week. So have a look at that, and remember, we're going into the full moon at the end of the month. End of the week, sorry. Going into the full moon at the end of the week. And so we want to allow these to all open up and have a look, shine some light on them so we can get an understanding of it before the full moon finishes and we start to close back down again. So we're open, let's do it. The other area I want to quickly mention is the plastic that is around it. So there's times there when you might be feeling, as far as your self-confidence goes, you might be feeling like you are actually restricted. Okay, you've got this invisible film that nobody knows about, and it's invisible to what people see, but it sometimes makes you feel a bit restricted. Okay, that's okay in this context, and that's there to protect you while you are a cut flower in that context. So it is okay, but you're probably feeling a little bit, but then having that protection around you because you have been cut, and you're not as grounded, that protection is what you need at this particular stage. So that's okay too. Yep, that's it. I think that's it. Yep, a lot of self-reflecting on those 5 areas. I'd love to know what those 5 areas are, and only you know. So good on you. Thanks, Elle. Who else is next? We've done Mellie, we've done Elle's, Sally's, and she has got the beautiful orchids. Aren't they gorgeous? Look how clear and crisp that is, and the lines in it. It's amazing. This one's here is obviously closer and it's more blurred, but that's just beautiful. Looks like it's in a pot. Okay. Let's go back over it again for Sal. We're looking at self-confidence, and we look at the stem as far as the self-appreciation, how far you've come and where you've gone. And I know that the orchids have a long stem and the flowers come off the stem in most of them. We can't see that in here. So the stem in that area, the distance you've come isn't relevant for your self-confidence. And I think that doesn't really make sense, because our journey and our stem is always important. Our journey for our self-confidence is always important, but not this week, not for this image. There's other images and when that's really, really important, and you need to really look at the journey that you've come on, but not for this week. Self-reflection, we're going to be doing a little bit of, because we can see a bit of the heart center, but the journey and the path, no, not so strong this time. We don't need to do it. We know it's there. We've already got some of that learning and some of that understanding. There'll be other times when it'll need to come forward, but not particularly for self-confidence for today. Self-care is, again, knowing is the leaves and the guides. Now, we can see a lot of the masculine down the bottom here in the physical realm, and here in the spiritual realm, a lot in the spiritual realm. So again, the physical is, the shape of it is masculine in its nature. It means that the way it is delivered is going to be of a masculine way. So from people talking to you, there are going to be putting up triggers for you. So people in the physical realm are going to be triggering you, and in the spirit realm. And it could be that, and I've seen you do this, Sal, or I've done it. It's where you get that sort of that aha message, and you sort of go, oh, shit, I knew that. I already knew that. But it's like that real distinct, yep, that's what you've got to do. That's where you're meant to be. Stop stuffing around and do it, girl. So I can see a bit of that happening for you this week. Your self-worth, when we look at it from another perspective, we look at you and your petals of attraction. And look, straight away, I sort of went, wow, look at the intricateness of this flower. I'm seeing this one here as the clear one, because that's really, really open. The others are facing a different direction, but I see this one. It's almost, you are a little bit covered in as far as your self-worth goes. You might feel that there's others more, I don't know, taking the limelight, for want of another word, but others that are more relevant to you. It's almost like it's your family members that are, no, they're out there. I'm just here. But look at you, just here. You look stunning. And the colors and that, like that, the intricate shape and pattern of it, it's just gorgeous. And the color, I love the color. It's not red, it's just that's beautiful burgundy, a light burgundy. It's just stunning. So really like that. So your self-worth from another perspective, you might feel that people see you, or see your other family members, or other people, could even be like other life coaches, more relevant. And you're just sitting back here going, hey, look at these shining. And that's just you. If you want to step forward a little bit more, you could, but you don't need to. You're going to attract what you need, because you are just being you. Okay. And it looks like just a big smile. Looks like you're sticking your tongue out at me. Self-reflect. We can see your heart there. When you're self-reflecting, be gentle on yourself. Please be gentle on yourself. It is a circular shape. It is more of a feminine shape. So please be gentle when you're nurturing yourself when you're self-reflecting. Nurture. Do it in a nurturing way. That's what I want to say. Do it in a nurturing way. Don't do it in an aggressive way. That's yours, Sal. Okay, who was next? Sally, I've done. That one I've done. Glenda. Let's do Glenda's next. God, the way I'm talking, will I get all of them done? Who knows? Okay, Glenda, yours is a cut flower as well. There you go. This is about your confidence. I think when I look at this flower, and this is a beautiful Australian native, and for those who don't know, it's a stunning flower. But what I see with this one, straight away I say it's a cut flower. So you've been severed from your plant. So you've been severed from that grounding, and you could be feeling a little bit up in the air as far as your confidence goes. Yes, you're getting the nurturing from the water, and you're in a beautiful setting, but you have lost a little bit of that grounding, and that grounding is really important for you at the moment. When we see this, we go, I'll step through it again just so it's the same. The stem path or the journey, we can see the stems for some of these. We can't see the main one in the middle. And we do know that they're cut. So when you start to look at the distance you've come, I'm feeling like you're really only assessing the distance you've come recently from the cut, not from the depths of the roots. So look at a little bit more when you look at this sort of a bush, and it can be quite a good sized bush. The depth and the size of it is really, really grounded. I think your confidence isn't as grounded, and you are looking at it from where this was severed, and where you've come forward from there, which is completely understandable, but you've got so much more to offer than just from where you are now. There's all that beautiful depth that you've got, and all that beautiful growth that you've got in the roots there. So be aware of that one. Self-care, know your triggers. Well, your triggers and are your leaves and your guides, which are very, very elongated, very masculine. I would say you would be quite quickly triggered if somebody just said, you should do that, or that's what you have to do. You know, just really blunt. If someone was really blunt to you, that's going to really trigger you. Be careful of that. A lot of this is going to be in the mental aspect. So, you know, more about reading, seeing it on social media, that sort of stuff. And there's a lot in the spiritual side of it too. So that spiritual side, if somebody says something, it's going to trigger you up there in the spiritual aspect of it. It's going to hurt. You're going to feel it. Sit with it. Get an understanding of it. Don't sit in it. Feel it and let it go through. Feel it and let it go through. You need to feel it. I don't know why, but that's what it's saying in this one. You need to feel it to help you with your self-care. Okay? Allow those triggers to come through and then allow them to go. It's when you hold on to those triggers that you're going to have the trouble. Your self-worth is seeing yourself from another perspective. And we look at the petals and stuff like that. Now, look again, the petals are very masculine in this. They're very, very elongated. So people see you as quite practical, quite down to earth. They see you in a almost not a masculine as in male sense, but very to the point. They may not see you so much as nurturing, but they see you as a whole nurturing. Now, let me explain that a little bit more. The picture itself, the flower itself we look at is quite round, as in that image is quite round. So the goal is quite feminine. This one's a bit more elongated, but that one's quite round. But the petals are still very, very elongated. So when we look at that, we can go, okay, that's nurturing, but the way you're nurturing is very masculine based. It's not feminine based. So it's not that soft, fluffy nurturing as much as it's more direct, to the point type nurturing. And a lot of people need that. A lot of people need that directness to get a better understanding of themselves or of their situation. So that's when they go, okay, right, that was a little bit blunt and to the point, but you know what? I get what you're talking about. And that's part of who you are and where you are at. So that is really good. So when I look at that with self-worth, don't take that on board as a negative, because it isn't a negative. If everybody was soft and fluffy, then would we get anything done, honestly? We need to have that happy medium. So, and I love that you can be feminine and still bring in that lovely masculine understanding of confidence and self-worth. Self-reflect is the center of the drive. We don't have a real center to the grevillea. There's not a strong center in there. So there's not a lot of self-reflecting that you have to do. And when we look at the self-reflecting in that context, it's the way you've behaved. I would still like you to look back and be more aware of your past and your roots and where you've come from, but not necessarily self-reflect on how you behaved and what you did and where you went. You don't need to do that. Not this week. Maybe another week. All right, Glenda, I hope that helps. That is yours. And I've got one more to go, which is Bex. Now I need a drink of water. Bex is here. Again, we're looking at self-confidence. Look at these little tiny flowers. You look at them straight away and you go, oh, you're not very self-confident. But you look at those little tiny flowers compared to where they're growing. How much guts and confidence do you need to be growing in grass like that? The grass is taking all the nutrients. The grass is taking everything. It's almost like you're standing out from the crowd and going, hey, look, here I am. I'm me. Cop that. So when we sort of look at that straight away, you would go, oh, she's not very self-confident, but it's actually the flip. It's actually the opposite. You imagine that lawn with grass will get mowed and everything, and you've got the self-confidence to stand up and be counted. I love it. So let's have a look at your self-appreciation, your stems, and we can't see them, not clearly. That one we might be able to see. And so consequently, it's not about the journey. It's not about how you got there, where you're going. That's not as important this week for you. When we look at self-care, we look about the triggers, and we can look at the leaves and the guides. So you've got to have this close to you. You've got these feminine guides, right? And most of this is in a mental area. So they're giving you that support mentally. So it could be verbally, it could be you're reading about them, you're getting an understanding from social media about them, you're getting that understanding. And if we look at it, it's in a sea of masculine. So you've got this little group of feminine support in a sea of masculine. The masculine is coming from the physical, mental, and the spirit realm. Mainly a lot in the spirit realm, a lot in the physical realm. So that's going to help you in your self-confidence. And look, when I look at this image, it's almost like they're going to be saying something masculine and you're going to be saying, great, I'm going to do the opposite. Because you understand what they're saying and what they're meaning and what they're doing, but you need to put it together in your way. You need to bring it forward in your way. It is going to be the triggers. So they're going to be your triggers. And then you're going to have this feminine aspect around you that helps you bring forward what you need to do. So, you're going to getting triggered. You're going to get triggered. So be patient. You're going to get these happening all over. In fact, yours is all about triggers this week. Sorry, Bex. You may need to talk to Mellie about that one. So lots of triggers this week, lots of things going on. Your self-worth is you see yourself from another perspective. And again, I'd like to just put forward what I did at the very beginning. Most people would look at that and go, oh, she's not very self-confident, because it's such a tiny little flower. And in all honesty, if you're reading it in another way, you would go, yes, it's introverted, very introverted. There's 3 of you introverted. But it's when you look at it as the full picture, and we know it's about self-confidence, I just see it as, wow, amazing. If that, you couldn't have a big flower in a lawn, but this little one, this little tenacious one has jumped up and says, look at me, I'm here amongst all you guys. So I see it as very, 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 very open. And I also see, because of the little daisies are quite open as well. Again, got nothing to hide. This is my self-worth. This is who I am. And there's nothing to hide there. So I see that as really, really positive. The self-reflect, yes, you need to self-reflect. Yes, there's areas there that you need to look at. Even when you're self-reflecting, be gentle with yourself. It is circular. Be gentle with yourself, because there is things that you have done in your past, we all have, that we sort of go, ooh, could have done that a bit better. But again, we only do what we can do when we know what we know at the time while it's happening. And I don't think that's a quote you want to sort of say, but you know what I mean. It's all about where we're at this particular stage. So when you're self-reflecting, be gentle with yourself and get an understanding. And when you're self-reflecting, you're going to get a self-reflect on the guidance you're getting from that masculine aspect and the guidance you're getting from the feminine. Not all the feminine is going to be positive, and not all the masculine is going to be negative. It's not about that. It's about how it's delivered, how you respond to it, and what you do with that. So yeah, yours is very good, Bex. That's yours. So that's me for today. Oh, look at the time. I've got to go. All right. I'm going to say bye for now because, links are down there. Okay. Press the button.